What is going on, everybody? Gold and Blue Dude is here with you again, and right now I'm in the middle of previewing just as many FBS football team schedule as I can. Now, earlier today, it was announced that the Big Ten is only going to play conference games, so these previews are based on a full schedule, so of course they are subject to change. Today, I'm going to talk about Oregon. Now, Oregon had a pretty good year last year. They were the 2019 Rose Bowl champs, also Pac-12 champs, and went 12-2. They were not too far away from making the playoffs. Now, when you think of Oregon, what's the first thing that comes to your mind? Well, for me, it's the the uniforms. Well, this year Oregon could have a pretty good team to go along with those uniforms. Very interesting uniforms. They're quite amusing sometimes, actually. The Ducks have been climbing slowly back up the ladder ever since Chip Kelly left. Recruiting is back on track. In 2020, they had a recruiting class of number 12 with 3 5-stars. And so far in 2021, the Ducks have the number 5 recruiting class ranking with 1 5-star so far. So Mario Cristobal is turning out to be a great hire. So the first thing I want to talk about is their offense. Now, of course, losing quarterback Justin Herbert, that will hurt. But Tyler Show will take over at quarterback, and he does have experience, and he is 6'5". So he's a tall quarterback. And last year in limited action, he was 12-15. That's 80%, 144 yards, 3 touchdowns, and no interceptions. Now, this guy is athletic and has a ton of potential. And they do have experience backing Show. It is a transfer from Boston College, Anthony Brown. He came back from a second knee surgery. And in limited action, he was 81 for 137, 59.1%, 1,250 yards, 9 touchdowns, and 2 interceptions. So he has some good talent behind him, but he's on a bad knee, so we'll see how that turns out. So new offensive coordinator Joe Morehead. He likes to run the RPO. What's the RPO? That is the run-pass option. That's where the quarterback reads the defense and sees whether it's better to hand the ball off or run or pass. So the Duck fans, y'all can expect at least 10 to 15 plays a game with the RPO designed in them. So wide receivers is where the Ducks should really shine, with a lot of experience coming back and talent. Starting with Johnny Johnson III. He had 57 receptions, 836 yards, and 7 touchdowns. They also have Jalen Redd, 50 receptions, 465 yards, and 7 touchdowns. Also, Micah Pittman, 18 receptions, 227 yards, and 2 touchdowns. And yet one more. Brian Addison, 18 receptions, 203 yards, and 1 touchdown. And they also have the 4-star Devon Williams waiting to make his mark. So there's plenty of experience and talent in the wide receiver position. So, what else? Oh, Oregon also has 3 good running backs coming back. C.J. Verdell, he had 197 carries for 1,220 yards, 8 touchdowns, and averaged 6.2 yards a carry. That's pretty stinking good. This guy is a workhorse. And another running back that's back is Travis Dye. He had 106 carries, 658 yards, averaged 6.2 yards a carry also. And then one more, and that is the short yard specialist, Cyrus Habibi, Likio. 85 carries, 337 yards, 10 touchdowns, and averaged 4 yards a carry. He was the guy that liked to get those first downs when it was like 3rd and 2 or 3rd and goal, something like that. So the only thing is the offensive line does lose 4 starters, but they do get Outland Trophy winner Penny Sewell. That's an interesting name, Penny Sewell. So last year the offensive line was ranked number 1 in the nation, so we'll see how far back they take a step this year. So all in all, I give the Ducks a B- on offense only because they lost Justin Herbert and 4 starting offensive linemen. But it definitely does have the potential of being an A squad. So now it's time to talk about the defense, which Oregon's not known for, but last year they did pretty good. Total defense, they were 9th in the country, allowing 16.5 points per game. 100, that wouldn't be bad. 16.5 points per game. That's 9th overall. They allowed 220 yards passing per game and 110 yards rushing per game. That's a total of 330 yards of total offense they allowed per game. Solid defense. So this year the defense looks to be solid. Again, pretty much everybody returns except for last year's linebacker who was the leader of the squad, and that is Troy Dye. Now on the defensive line they have Kayvon Thibodeaux. He's going to lead the way on the D-line by himself. He had 29 tackles, 35 altogether, 9 sacks, and 1 forced fumble. And even though Troy Dye is gone, Oregon should still be fine at the linebacker position. They have Isaac Slade, Matutia. He had 36 tackles by himself, 62 altogether, and 1.5 sacks, 11 pass breakups, and 6 quarterback hurries. So he liked to get after the quarterback. They also have linebacker Noah Sewell. He wrapped up a talented but slightly inexperienced linebacking core, but he should play a pretty good role in the linebacker core. Now, the secondary has a ton of talent and experience coming back. The problem is figuring out where everybody fits in different schemes, so they're still working on where they want to put everybody. So, first off, Oregon has cornerback Thomas Graham Jr. He had 47 tackles by himself, 64 altogether, 1 forced fumble, 2 interceptions, and 10 pass deflections. Then they have cornerback Ray Lenoir coming back. 31 tackles by himself, 46 altogether, 1 forced fumble, 1 interception, and 7 pass deflections. And they also have some talent coming in with redshirt freshman cornerback Michael Wright. This year he will be a starter. Last year in limited action he had 15 tackles, 21 altogether, 1 interception, and 4 pass deflections. So at safety they have Javon Holland, 40 tackles by himself, 66 altogether, 4 interceptions, and 4 pass deflections. Another safety to go along with him is Brady Breeze. That's a nice little name, Brady Breeze. 43 tackles by himself, 62 altogether, 1 forced fumble, 2 interceptions, and 3 pass deflections. And there's another safety on the depth chart, Nick Pickett. 33 tackles by himself, 45 altogether, 1 interception, and 6 pass deflections. And one more cornerback to wrap up an experienced and talented secondary, and that is Verone McKinley III. He had 29 tackles by himself, 46 altogether, 4 interceptions, and 2 pass deflections. So I do expect the defense to actually be Oregon's strong suit this year once they figure out package placements. So overall, I give the defense an A-, and they won't be a liability. They actually might be the best part of Oregon in 2020. So now it's time for my favorite part of predictions, and that's my heaven and hell scenarios. First, I'm going to go over the hell scenario. Quarterback Tyler Show comes in totally lost. The offensive line can't protect, and the defense gets gassed. Oregon takes a step back and goes 8-4. That's my hell scenario. That's not, terrible. That's worst case scenario in my eyes. So let's go heaven scenario. What could happen if things, just go completely right? Quarterback Tyler Show settles in quickly because of the weapons around him. A lot of weapons. The offense puts up a ton of points, and the defense is even better than last year. Oregon goes undefeated and ends the Pac-12 playoff drought. Yes, I think Oregon does have the capability of going undefeated, but the question is, will they? So, what's my prediction? The gold and blue dude prediction. Well, like I said, it all comes down to Tyler Show and that offensive line. I do think having as many weapons as he does will help settle him in quickly. Now, the defense could be even better than last year. They finished first in the Pac-12 and got a horrendous schedule. Well, actually, it's not that horrendous, but there's a couple of tough games in there. But they do get their tough opponents at home. That's a big deal. So, having said that, that gives Oregon an inside track to the Pac-12 championship and possibly the playoffs. So let's look over this schedule, and I'm going to go over wins and losses and see what record I come out with Oregon. So we'll start off with North Dakota State at home. Win. Ohio State at home. I'm going to give them a half. That's a 50-50 to me. Hawaii at home. Win. At Colorado. Win. Washington at home. They get Washington at home. Important. Win. At Cal. Could be tricky. Cal can be tricky sometimes, but I'll give them a win. Stanford at home. win. At Arizona, win. USC at home, win. I don't think USC will be quite as good as they were last year. We'll see. Arizona State at home, win. And then to finish the season, at Washington State, win. At Oregon State, win. Yes, that's right. You heard correctly. I think Oregon will either go 11-1 or 12-0. But it depends on if they play a full schedule. But either way, I think Oregon should be really good. I think Tyler Show will step up and be a decent quarterback. Like I said, it does hurt that Justin Herbert left, but I think they have a competent quarterback stepping in. So that's all I got for you today, guys. Like and subscribe if you haven't already, and I will see you on my next show.